Jesus was having Passover dinner with his closest friends, having good food, a good time, good drink. He was having a really good time with his closest friends. What could possibly go wrong? Well, literally the next day, Jesus was being crucified. And that's just how everything flipped from being a great miracle worker to being crucified in front of the people that he worked miracles for. What a twist, what a change, what a situation to be in. How did Jesus gather the strength to endure this switch, this change, and not only that, but to persist in his sacrifice? Because Jesus could have come down from the cross, but he didn't. How did he endure that? Well, he did it through prayer. He prepared himself for the sacrifice through prayer. He prayed before he was sacrificed. You see, if we think of prayer as ammunition in a battle, we want to grab all the ammunition we can before the conflict, not run and try to get all the ammunition we can during the conflict, because it would probably be a little too late. We would get hit and we would get hurt by the time we get all the ammunition we want to and require. The smartest thing to do would be to grab all the ammunition we can before the conflict and be ready, and then reload as the conflict goes on. You see, this is what Jesus did. He grabbed all the prayer he needed before the conflict to support him spiritually, to strengthen him, to give him that strength inside him that he needed, and he was able to go through it. Not like Peter. Peter was empty on ammunition when his conflict came. Therefore, he wasn't ready and he was attacked. And unfortunately, it seems like part of him failed. Jesus didn't fail because he was ready in ammunition when the conflict came. He was good to go. How did he resist staying on the cross? Jesus resisted staying on the cross. You see, Jesus went through humiliation. He went through betrayal from his closest friends. And he went through false accusation. See, I feel like everyone at some point in small or great scales goes through betrayal from his closest friend, goes through humiliation, and also goes through false accusation. I feel like I'm talking to everyone right now when I say that, because everyone from a small to a great degree has gone through these things. The thing is that it always catches us by surprise. We're always shocked about it, and we're never ready for it. No one's ever ready for a betrayal from a close friend. No one's ever ready for a discrimination. No one is ever ready to be humiliated, and no one is ever ready to be falsely accusated. No one is ready for it. Jesus was ready for it. You know how he was ready for it? He prayed. He prayed about it. And he wasn't only ready for it, he was ready to resist it. He was ready to endure it. He was ready to persist in it and not fail. You know how? He prayed. He said, Father, if it's possible, don't let me take in this sacrifice. Don't let me drink of this cup. But don't let it be my will, let it be yours. He prayed about his future conflict. You see, we always pray about our present conflicts. We never pray about our future conflicts. Why? Because we're so in denial about having future conflicts that we don't even pray about it. We pray about what we're in front of now. But Jesus had a perspective of the future that he knew conflict was coming. Now, you know conflict is coming. Life is full of conflict. You came out of one today, and eventually tomorrow you'll go into another conflict. Now, the past conflict you had caught you by surprise. The future conflict you have Let it catch you with prayer ammunition. Let it catch you with all the bullets that you can have of prayer. That resistance. Resist. Like a good soldier. Paul says, resist like a good soldier. Worthy of the calling of Jesus Christ. Why worthy of the calling of Jesus Christ? Because Jesus Christ was probably the man that resisted the most in history. Why? Because he prayed before the conflict. He was in prayer before the conflict. Who didn't pray before the conflict? Peter didn't pray before the conflict. Now, I can't even come close to what Peter was and is, and I will probably never be anything like him. But one little lesson we can get from Peter just in this midnight of his life was that if prayer would have been in him before the conflict, he probably would have persisted a lot better than he did. Jesus went up to Peter and said, pray, 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 pray. Jesus knew what was coming for Peter, so he was telling Peter, pray, and Peter went to sleep. Why did he go to sleep? Because he had no idea how bad it was going to get. He had no idea how heartbreaking it was going to get. He had no idea how devastated he would feel, lost, confused, embarrassed because of his denial. He had no idea what he was going to have to suffer. So since he had no idea, he felt like he could sleep. You see, if we knew what was coming ahead of us, we would probably pray like crazy. If Peter knew what was coming ahead of him, he would have been praying all night. Forget the sword. He would have prayed non-stop. But since he didn't pray, he tried to solve spiritual issues with a physical weapon. When in reality, his weapon should have been prayer. Not prayer there. Prayer before. You see, and I feel like I've seen myself reflected in Peter so many times. Why? Because I'm not prepared in prayer for my conflicts, I try to solve it with my own strength. I try to solve it with my sword, with my physical strength. And I try to hurt people because I feel like they're the ones attacking me, when in reality it's just a spiritual thing. When I should have prayed. So, from this point on, pray like you're about to enter conflict. I hope you don't. I hope it never happens. I hope conflict never happens. But 2019, everyone was praying like things were going great and they were never going to get bad. Us as a church, we should have been praying like we were ready for anything. Pray and be ready for anything. Prayer, prepare in prayer before conflict.